Hello and welcome back to Undecided Tarot Name, where we are going to be doing a new moon reading in the zodiac Leo. Very excited about this. My moon itself is in Leo, so I'm very connected to this. I'm very loving having this vibe. Now, this spread is not my own. Feel free to check the description for links and stuff and info about the spread in case you wish to do this with your own. But otherwise, I'm going to be reading from these four piles. And this is going to be a lot about your heart's desire and what your intentions are and making sure you can achieve those things. Also, if you like these kind of spreads, if you realize this is a good connection, I do have a Ko-Fi where I do private readings and I do the full and new moon every month. I think they're really good ones to look at and manifest through. So if private readings are something you are interested in, that would be ones that I would recommend. I love them. The moon ones are awesome. So that's in the link as well, or in the description as well, if you are interested. Now, if you've done pick a card readings, you can feel free to jump ahead. Or if you're interested in a little bit more info, stick around. And if you've never done a pick a card reading, welcome. And I hope you enjoy this. First and foremost, you just go with your gut is really kind of the idea. For those of you who know and understand your intuition, that's where we want to go and guide yourselves to. The best thing you can do is just know whatever one that you think is really truly calling you is the one to watch. Some people do get called to more than one deck. Feel free to watch more than one. And if you end up loving your reading, it does help me a ton to watch the entire video or watch more of my content to help me out here on YouTube. A little bit more about these decks. This is the Shadowscapes Tarot up here on the left. This is a watercolored themed, lots of people in this deck, beautiful art, nice and easy on the eyes in my opinion, but it does get blown out pretty hard on my camera, so if you're down for just listening, this might be your jam. Next is the Mystical Cats Tarot, which is an exciting one, but I do warn you that the cats sometimes have their claws out. This deck does not hold back and is not afraid to make sure it scratches you sometimes. It needs you to know some information. We then move on to the Antique Anatomy. And Antique Anatomy does have skulls and floral kind of vibe to it, so it's very macabre. And there is very much a vibe to it that can be a little bit more dark. There is no grotesque muscles or blood or anything like that, but it does include knife blades and instead of swords. So if there is some things where you might find this uncomfortable, go ahead and skip this deck. Just as a warning, some people just don't like that kind of art, and some people are very into it. This is a wonderful deck if you do feel called to it, I promise. And then the very opposite of it, at the far right, is our Kawaii deck. Lots of rounded animals who are happy to just give you a lovely, cute thing to look at. And sometimes that doesn't mean they're distracting you from the very deep meaning, I will say. So you have to be careful of that. But these cards are all excellent decks to get a reading from, and I'm very excited to see what they have to say about our new moon in Leo. If you know where you're going, go ahead and jump ahead. There's timestamps in the description. Or if you're pile one, we're about to start. I'll see you soon. Hello, pile one. You've chosen the Shadowscapes Tarot. I love this deck. This is one of my favorites. So I think I don't have a very large collection, so I suppose my favorites aren't that extensive. We are going to be pulling one card at a time. A lot of the cards that I find want to speak on their own, and then at the end we kind of get to see how they all collaborate and talk to each other. But a lot of the time, right at the beginning, they want to be able to say their piece. The first few cards always seem to want to talk the loudest, so we let them have their time. And I'm going to be very honest with you. This card on top, I just moved the one card out of the way, but this card on top wants to be our first one. And then we're going to talk about, what does your heart want to create? What do you want to create? The Seven of Wands is our first card right off the bat. I'm going to adjust my camera so you can see it a little bit nicer. There we go. And this is a card of defensiveness. We have this fox here who is trying to protect their family from a badger, I believe a badger. And this is a point where you're probably feeling like the thing you've created is so important, and your heart wants to, this actually might be a very literal, your heart wants to create a family. Oh, interesting. That was like a very clear message that just came through, is that your heart really wants to have the family. And your family doesn't have to be biological, by the way. It could be the community of people that you consider your family. But this is very clearly, yeah, nope. everything else just like shied away. Everything in this is telling me that you're trying to protect your family. And you want to create that family, that perfect family, that actually perfect is not the word. You want, well, maybe the perfect to you family, but like a good foundation. We're trying to build a good foundation with this new moon in Leo, and trying to create a larger space that's welcoming. But not to everybody. I think we can agree that there's some people in this world that are not welcome into all of our spaces, and that's the Badger in this sense, where we're like, no, I need to defend my ground. And that's okay. I do want to move on to the next because I love that card, and I think it's going to actually build really nicely with other cards. Right off the bat, that this one is calling our name here. And what new aspects of myself am I expressing? So what new aspects of yourself are you expressing? And we are looking at the Four of Pentacles. Now with the Four of Pentacles, we are going to be seeing security, the stability, I don't know if you can quite tell, but this dragon's almost like nestling an egg kind of a deal. Again, we're having this like familial energy coming through again. You want to defend your family. That is so important to you. This also seems though like you're hoarding. Like something within it is like too personal, like you're keeping things too close and you need to like let them go a little bit. Typically with the Pentacles, it's a financial thing. So there might be something where you actually just need to allow yourself to be willing to give money freely. Yeah. And then we have these circular moments, which makes me think of like change happening, and what is something that what is changing in your life right now that would be important to recognize. How can I manifest my deepest desires? I don't usually do flyaways. It's usually just because I'm bad at shuffling. But this one does want to say, like, how can you manifest your deepest desires? Oh, the Two of Pentacles, balance. Yes, that makes a ton of sense. We're trying to balance. And again, with that Pentacles, I think there's some financial things. With this card, it actually sounds like you're trying to support your family pretty extensively and trying to find that balance of support along with the fun and the emotions, along with, reasoning, and just trying to keep things logical, but also knowing that some things take money, and that can be really, really hard. And that can be a really hard thing to balance and to keep in check. There's also a point of, because found family almost seems very very central here, actually, because it keeps kind of coming in my head that I keep hearing found family. I think there's also a point of like balancing and adapting. We see this character is very precariously balanced, and that means you're constantly having to adapt to what's changing, to every vibration. A breeze coming by means you have to adjust your weight. I don't know how well it shows up, but there is just this like little bit that's touching these two pieces that like the slightest movement can tip you over. And we have a monkey sitting on the side, which as soon as that monkey, who has no desires, with a butterfly tipping on their nose, like you have to keep adjusting your weight to accommodate for all these little changes, because the monkey could jump off at any point. The butterfly could move, and that could just set you off just enough. And this character almost looks like this butterfly has just arrived, and we're just starting to figure out what we're doing while still juggling other things. And this is a hard thing sometimes to perfect. I don't think you're not going to be able to do it, though. I think you can do it. I do want to look at how you want to be seen with all of this. How are you wanting to be perceived? And especially with all of this thought process, all of this desire to love, all of this wanting to create a safe space, what does that look like? And it's calling to this card of how you wish to be seen. Well, we have Judgment. Okay. Yeah, actually, this makes a ton of sense. Now, Judgment, it's not a judging you card. I think sometimes it feels like, oh, this card's coming to judge me, which it can. But in this case, I don't think it is. I think it's this beautiful sense of, look how put together this person is. They have everything going on. Judgment comes at the end of the major arcana, which is like the end of the cycle when things are actually starting to finish up. You're seeing everything kind of come to completion, and you want that state to be constant for yourself. You always want to look put together. You always want to be the person who looks like they're on top of things. They know what's up. They know how to keep things in line and how to balance all of these things. Of course they do. That's how that works. I don't know though that it's actually happening for you. I think that sometimes that while you wish for that, I don't know if it's actually happening. And it's not a bad goal to strive for. Judgment's a wonderful card to be striving for. I think you'll also have... Oh, interesting. I think you'll have this moment where trying to have this, like, perfect family, you'll realize it doesn't need to be perfect to the outside. It needs to be just loving and wonderful for you guys. And yes, there's going to be a lot of stuff that will be very hard to keep afloat and balance and make sure that you're not keeping too tightly, you're not holding things too tightly, and that you're letting go of things that need to go. It's okay. You're okay. It's okay to feel like you're not balancing things well. It's okay to not feel like you're doing all of the stuff perfectly. You don't have to be doing all of the stuff perfectly. You can be doing things as perfectly as you can do them, but also be okay that sometimes we have to let certain things just stop. We can't do everything as much as we would love to. I think you very much can do quite a bit of things. I think having it as a goal is not a bad thing. I think that's a really important thing to tell yourself, is that it's as a goal, it's fine, but you really need to be okay if that goal doesn't get met, and you don't beat yourself up, and you just go, tomorrow is a new day. It's okay. You are somebody who probably, it feels like this is somebody who, like, you know what's coming, or you have a plan for everything, and that it's a little upsetting that things don't go as you want. Like, you don't get to have the things that you wish. When things go off plan, you're a little like, or off schedule, you're just a little like irked. And to remind yourself that it's okay that it doesn't work like that. This is very much feeling like a type A type person. And I know with general readings, I can't hit everybody with the cards they pick. So for some of you, this isn't going to resonate. But for those of you who it does, I'm very curious how many things you're trying to do, because it seems like a lot. It's okay if it's not all perfect. Now, I do want to look into how do we continue this desire leading from the heart? How do you lead from the heart? And interestingly, I have 2 cards that are being called, so we're gonna look at 2 cards, I guess. I'm going to readjust my camera. Oh, we have the Empress and the King of Pentacles. So we have the Empress and the King of Pentacles here. And within these cards, yeah, I kind of love this. That your Pentacle side, that's very much like trying to be very grounded and understanding and knowing what's going on. It shows up here that you're really wanting to keep this grounded part. And I think that's actually really good, because our Empress is also, she's gathered so much resources. She knows what's going on, and she's being able to like share everything, which is amazing and wonderful. And we all love that she's willing to share with us all these beautiful things she does. it's just that how are we there's also like this almost intuitive base that you need to come back to with the Empress, is that you are trying really hard to have the King of Pentacles run everything when the Empress should be. Your gut's gonna say some stuff that's important to know. And that's important to realize when you're doing everything else and trying to keep everything else balanced. We want to have this, I want you to have the moment where you feel like everything's put together, but I think you also need to realize that we're a bit of ways from that, and that you need a little more time to cook. There's a little bit more stuff to work on and get done, but you are so solid into the earth. You're so grounded. And I hope that you're not saying no to your emotions. I hope you're not saying no to your brain for reasons like when you're logically trying to figure out stuff. I hope that's coming into play, and it feels like it is, but I hope you're not shutting down your emotions in this process. That emotional vulnerability can be really important and very helpful for everybody to realize that you're also human, and that even though you might be the person that everybody's turning to, sometimes you need somebody to turn to, and that can be very, very important. I do want to look at the last question here for what is your highest intention for your creations? And this is the card that is feeling called. We have the Ace of Swords. This is a victory. This is a powerful stand. This is you creating everything you've wanted and having that perfect clarity moment. This is you getting your aha, I got this, I know what's happening moment. And you want your family to be safe. You want your family to be on the same page, know what's happening. The butterflies that have flown throughout can talk about so much transformation. And I think there is a certain point of realizing that maybe your current family may need to look different in a few years. And that can be very upsetting and very hard and not desired at all right now. I know that can be a hard thing that like nobody really wants to have happen. Like who really actually wants to hear that? Just trying to focus my camera here, and it doesn't really like anywhere. We'll let it autofocus then. I think that this is the lack of cups still concerns me, though. I do really feel like you are shoving certain, for as much as I felt like family is very important to the core of this, there is so much of a shoved to the side of your emotions, of possibly your family and friends' emotions, and just trying to like make sure everybody stays together and keeps together. And when reality is some things need to fall away. Sometimes you fall apart. People are not always going to stay the same. Change happens and change hurts. You guys can do so much. You are an amazing person who can do so much. And it's okay to let a couple things fall when balancing. We can't juggle everything all at once as much as we would love to do so. But you need to pick up the leadership in a way that actually makes sense for you and that is actually helpful to everybody. I think you're trying to do everything all at once and you're trying to do all the things, and there's people in your group who can do it better. And it doesn't mean everything. It's just like aspects of the group. Let it go. It's okay. Allow yourself this space to then become a better leader in the things that you are really good at. I think if you are somebody who kind of came into this pile and like the found family thing doesn't work, there's also this other message of a business that you've been dreaming of trying to create. Again, this can feel like a family to you, like it's making a small business kind of a deal. And this is kind of your sign to like, hey, somebody else needs to step in. You need a teammate that will help step in for management. Because you're balancing a lot and it's starting to fall apart. And in order to get the victory, to get the win that you're looking for, it needs help. You need somebody else to step in. Well, pile 1. Thank you for letting me read for you. I wish I was sitting across the table from you, because I think there's like really good questions that could be happened that would be very good to hear from you and hear what you're thinking. The timeline wise on this is very slow. This is going to be a very slow process. I think you're somebody who can, I think you want the speed of the swords, that quick, like, hey, I want everything to be perfect now, but this is a slow process. Unfortunately, this takes years to get everything to work out and to have everybody be happy, I guess, in the sense that to get the happy that you're wanting is a lot of work, and it's not easy, and it is something that you have to be okay with putting in the work for a long time, and also realizing that you can't put in all the work. Others have to put in some of the work as well. Yeah, I really wish I was like sitting across from you as a querent, because I think that would be incredibly beneficial to hear some of the questions that you have and what you're thinking through and stuff. If you're willing to put some in the comments, I will try to answer them. I can't make any promises, but I would love to try. And yeah, thank you so much for letting me read for you today, pile 1. Thank you for letting me join you in this. I really hope that this was beneficial or it resonated with you. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, morning, evening, night. If you're having insomnia, sleep well, please. I hope you've passed out during this so you can sleep. So thank you so much for letting me read for you today. Hello and welcome, pile 2. You have chosen the Mystical Cats Tarot. Just as a warning, sometimes she comes up with her claws out, so be prepared that she might come and scratch in. Now, we are going to be doing the New Moon in Leo spread by Biddy Tarot. I'm very excited to be able to read for you. This is such a great spread, in my opinion. It really can dive deep into your heart and what you want and what is best for you, and just so many aspects that I think are really good. That's just looking at your heart and really taking time to reflect. I think that can be very, very helpful. So with my readings, I pull one card at a time, because quite often the cards, especially at the beginning of a reading, want to say a lot. Not always, but they often do. And so I try to allow them to say what they want. Our first, right off the bat, you're going to be looking at, what does your heart want to create? And honestly, this card on top wants to talk. Your heart wishes to create the Knight of Sky. Oh. Now, this is an interesting card to start off with. As, what do you want to create? Typically, I think of this card as like an anxiety and depression. And so I think there's more info that we need to pull from other stuff. Because I highly doubt you're trying to create a worse scenario. I don't think that's what you're doing. So I'm going to pull more cards. We're going to see how this card ends up pulling within other ones. Nope, just straight up. We want to look at the next part of what new aspects of yourself are you expressing? Oh, yeah. Okay, now we have the Four of Sky. All right. And I mean, the Four of Sky is beautiful. This card really just is like this moment of rest. Your heart is like, you might actually like a little bit of stress. Sometimes that like little bit of worry might be actually kind of nice. It might be even comforting that you've gotten to a point where things are just comfortable when you're a little stressed, a little anxious, a little depressed, maybe. That might be something that you're actually like, yeah, this is preferred. That might be a comfort to that. I would caution you on this. Now, I am not a licensed medical, or mental professional in any way, shape, or form. So I really can't say anything within that aspect. But sometimes a therapist may be a good idea to incorporate into your practice and stuff. There are some amazing therapists who are happy to have you pull tarot in their sessions, or have you do particular work. If you have a shadow work practice at all, new moon in Leo is a good time to see, I think for you particularly, some shadow work may be in play here. Interesting. I never recommend that, but getting some shadow work vibes that like some really good facing the reality of how you're feeling might be really helpful for you. If you don't do shadow work, you can definitely like look into it and see if this is something you're willing to do. But for those of you who may not be interested in shadow work, having some just time to actually like self-reflect and kind of look yourself in the mirror would be a really good thing at this point. And being okay with, you might not always like what's being reflected back. I think that would be a big part of this. 'Cause it can hurt. And I want you to know that your rest is not uncalled for. A lot of the time we end up in spaces where it's just exhausting to exist. Sometimes it's just in our head. It's just a lot of work and we need the time to sit and rest. How can we manifest these deep desires that we might have? And what way are we going to end up manifesting them? I think it's going to be very important. And I have 2 cards that are calling. But this one's actually for the next question. So we're going to reveal them both at the same time. Now, this one is about manifesting your deepest desires, this top one. And then this bottom one is how you want to be seen. Interestingly, they both want to talk at the same time. We have the Sky Kitten. There's a lot of mental stuff here. That sky is that air, and that's very fluid space and can be mental stuff going on might be very important to you right now to like be aware. If you are in therapy, this is probably, you're having some pivotal therapy stuff happening. Not a bad thing. Probably actually really good. You're having some breakthroughs or something, and that can be incredibly powerful. So I'm happy for you in that, because that's good. Now, to manifest your deepest desires, I think that makes sense that you have the cute little Sky Kitten. You guys have to see this card, so I'm going to adjust my settings here. Yes. Look at this lovely kitten who's jumping around, very excited to chase the ribbon, and they're kind of just going for it. They're just ready to just do it, and they're excited. They want to see, they've never seen ribbons probably before, and they're trying to figure out what this is, and they're just leaping and going for it. And I love this idea of you're getting told, hey, all that like thinking and processing that you've been doing, it's okay. Just push it to the side right now and just go for it. Just go and explore that thing. Go and do the thing. Like, just go have fun. And then you want to be seen as somebody so compassionate, so understanding. You want to be this like balance between the beach, like the sand and the water. You want to have this where so many things can wash up on you and you can take care of it. You're meant to handle that. You want to be that beachfront that's ready for the shells to come up, but also anything that like the trash and stuff. You're willing to take all of it up and just take it out of the water. I want you to be very careful with that desire. As some of the rest of this says, you might not be quite ready to handle that. But it's a really nice thing to want to help. Definitely. And the combo of the Sky Kitten says you should help, but don't go like straight into leadership or anything. Don't be like, I'm gonna be in charge. Like, learn. This is the time to like jump in and learn things. I'm excited for you to do that, because that seems like a very good fit for you, and that I think it'll actually help you a lot more with this desire for rest, this desire to pause. No, there was not meant to be a pause joke. Sorry. I'm just realizing that. I'm in a moment of pause, as in like stop of time kind of a thing. It's time to recharge. So sorry. We're going to kind of tangentially go off of this Ace of the Sea here and going into how do you want to lead from the heart. Again, we're not like wanting to jump into leadership stuff, but like, how do you lead your life from the heart? How are we getting to like your deepest points that you really deeply desire? And how are we going to be able to do that and lead the life that we want? How are you going to lead that life, basically? So how are we leading from the heart? We're going to be doing the Eight of Sea. Beautiful emotion cards balancing out your sky cards, and I love that. I love that this mental emotional balance is coming out into play. You need to allow the sad things to be sad. You need to allow the voices in your head to be heard. And it might just be to a journal page. It might be in a voice memo that never gets shared. It might be in some way secretive where you write a note and you burn it, whatever. Whatever that looks like. But like this cat from the Sea Clan isn't near the ocean. He's away from it. He finds this beautiful shrine and he's listening to the ocean in the shell. And it's making him think of home. And he misses home. This might be your time to reconnect with your family. To say hello. Figure out what's going on. You have so much wonderful work that you can do. And this is a lot of self-work. These cats came out with their claws. Not going to lie. And I keep getting messages of therapists. So, again, I am not liable for anything you do. But I do, if you were somebody who really, truly, like, you take your time with picking out tarot readings you listen to, you don't do these often. Or if you are very selective, you might really, if you take tarot as seriously as I am trying to read it, and you don't do it to a frequency where you just wait till you get to hear what you want to hear kind of a thing, I highly recommend looking into therapy if you are not already in it. And if you are in it, lean into it and be vulnerable. And allow yourself to have to disappoint your therapist is what just came through. Allow yourself to disappoint your therapist. Interesting. That's not the message I thought I was going to give, but all right. We're lastly going to look at what is your highest intention for your creations. What are we trying? This seems like a very you-focused, not in a bad way. We're trying to make yourself better. What is the highest intention of making yourself better? The cards need to be shuffled. Some energy needs to be shuffled. Underlying energy. It's from the bottom. Okay. Your highest intention for your creations is the floating cat. I love this. This is a wonderful thing to desire. The floating cat just kind of looks like they're just leisurely. They're not worried about what's going on. They're just leisurely being thrown into the air in a nice, gentle way, and they've rolled over and accepted it. This card really makes me think that you are going to end up in a wonderful position where you're just like, yeah, I'm doing this thing. And you didn't choose, by the way, for this particular scenario. You didn't choose to get floated. You didn't choose to be levitated up into the air. But you are accepting and you're rolling with the punches. You're allowing yourself to be like, yeah, this is fine. I'm good. And I love that. I love that for you. Now, I do want to discuss a couple things that are absent actually from this. I don't think that there's not a single wands and there's not a single pentacles. I am concerned for I guess some of it can be sex drive. The wands often are related to sex, but like part of it is also like the creativity and how grounded are you. Sometimes we get so stuck up in our heads that like we're so just used to hearing just our thoughts and what they're saying that we don't actually look at reality. What does actually sitting in our bank accounts? What is actually sitting in our contacts? Who we can talk to, who we can call, who we can ask to come over. I think it's also important to realize that maybe, because it doesn't really seem like you're too financially unwell. And granted, with a general reading, not everybody's going to resonate with everything I say. That's just part of the deal. Some of you might, but most of you won't. You're going to be taking pieces of this stuff. This is a time to like look at your finances and be okay with the fact that like, hey, I can afford to go and buy some cheap paints, a couple of canvases, invite a few friends over, and we just paint stuff. And it doesn't have to be good. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't even have to be joyous. It's okay to put your awful feelings on a canvas. It's okay to go buy Crayola crayons and take a notebook piece of paper and like scream almost as you color. If you have any hobbies that you used to love, revisit them. You used to knit, you used to crochet, you used to sew, whatever. Can you revisit them? Do you have the supplies to make it work? Do you have a needle and thread? Can you start hand sewing again? Do you have some yarn and a hook? There you go. You can start crocheting again. And it doesn't have to be good. It doesn't have to be amazing. It can be a little, like a pot holder, like, or something. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be the absolute best thing ever. But it does need to be you. It needs to be something that you can say, this is mine. Making a thing is a wonderful thing to do with a lot of, when you're really stuck up in your head, because sometimes you get to look at it and go, haha, look, this thing exists and I made it. And you can't tell me I didn't, because I just did. And there's something very, very wonderful in a brain to do that, I think. I want you to reach a point where when the world takes you up in the air, you just kind of roll over and go with it. There's a lot of work to be done. I think you can make some very quick steps and feel like you're just snapping into it. Overall, this is a long process. But in the right now future here, this can be a very, in the next few weeks, you can really help yourself turn around. I've given you a couple different ways in this reading. I hope some of them made sense or resonated with you. Thank you so much, Pile 2, for letting me read for you. I love this deck, and I hope you know that, and I hope it felt like there was care and such with this, as I know this was a hard reading. This could be a little bit hard to come to terms with, and I think there's going to be a lot of resistance from this pile to accept that this is what might be going on. And I'd be curious in a couple months if you look back and go, yeah, that was the case, because this one feels very resistant to me. Thank you so much for letting me read for you, and I hope for the best, and yeah, please stay magical. And there's so many people who care. And not in a weird way. You have people in your life. It shows here that there The self-isolation is as a self-isolation. There's people who want to come in and help you. You just need to be okay with accepting the help. Well, pile 2, thank you again for letting me read for you. And I will hopefully see you next time you decide to come and get a reading. Hello, pile 3. You have chosen the Antiques Anatomy Tarot. And this tarot, just as a warning, in case you did not hear my kind of little warning at the beginning of this does feature skulls and flowers. It can be a little bit macabre, and there are pictures of like knives and stuff in this. So it's a little more gothic of a deck. So if that's something that you're not interested in, go ahead and pop out now. Otherwise, if you're totally okay with all that, feel free to keep going. This deck can just have some... It's nothing like grotesque, but it is sometimes like people just aren't interested in looking at like skeletons and skulls and knife blades and whatnot. It's just a personal preference for some, and I just want to respect that. So we are going to be looking at the new moon in Leo. I pull one card at a time. Sometimes they just want to chat extensively, and sometimes they only want to say a little bit, and then the next card gets pulled. Just depends. So this card here actually wants to chat with us, and this is going to be what your heart wants to create. What does your heart want to create? And right off the bat, we have the 7 of Rods. Now, the 7 of Rods has been showing up for a lot of people. I feel like I've been seeing a lot of the 7 of Rods quite a bit lately. This card has been kind of everywhere. We all feel like we're getting really defensive and trying to fight off other people. Interestingly, in this depiction, we have a bunch of matches, and what I believe it to be is a lighter. And how are you being the lighter? Are you, setting the world ablaze, making sure everybody burns down, or are you feeling the burn down? I think you want to be the spark, though. I think you might feel the burnt out kind of bit, but I think you wish to be the spark that gets everything going. You want to be the lighter where you're getting everybody else fired up and ready to go. Remembering that other people can't just run forever, including yourself, is an important thing to realize within this. Interestingly, this deck uses card colors pretty heavily, and in their guidebook, they have one of the words they use for orange is success. And within the yellow ones, it's, of course, like positivity and optimism, but also growth. And I think the successful growth is a very important thing to keep in mind within this. Because how do you get those matches that would back? Or do you not? Is that okay? Are you okay with not having things come back? Maybe you need to burn some stuff away. We're trying to let go. I'm excited to see what your other cards say, because I think that can be very informative to the rest of this. But yeah, I think your heart wants to create a spark is really the main thing I'm hearing. And what are we setting ablaze is interesting. What new things in your life are you expressing right now? This card feels called. So what new aspects of yourself are you expressing? And we have the 9 of Coins. We have this moment of, you're probably actually to a point where you're like, oh, I've made it, and I'm actually in a point of extra. You have gratitude. We have those beautiful yellow flowers again, where things are really successful right now. Things are really going well. I mean, I know successful is the orange color, but like there's like this really nice happiness, this positivity, that wonderful looking forward momentum kind of idea. You're having a really nice, happy moment, which is wonderful. And a new moon in Leo as well. Like, well, that's awesome. I think what we need to then is like, you're trying to figure out though how you can give back. How can we do back? And again, we kind of covered that or discussed that a little bit in that 7 of Rods. You want to help other people get set ablaze. And how do you do that? And it might be in a monetarily sense. It might be in a of your time. It might be a part of like what do you have excess of right now? Because something you are like very happy to have excess something. Is it excess time? Is it excess money? Is it connections? Do you know people? What is most helpful to you to get things to move forward? How can we manifest those deep desires is the next part. And this card is calling out for this. And we have the 8 of elixirs. And now we have these purple and blue flowers, and the blue calmness, I think, is a very juxtaposition to what you want to do. I think you want to get out there, like, run down and be like, we're gonna do all the things. You gotta slow it down. Interestingly, the names on these potions or these elixirs are despair, let go potion, soul journey, the void, wake up potion, and aura cleanse. And interestingly, I think you need to be looking at you have all of this wonderful, like, power and luxury power, luxury. You're excited about what you have and are able to give. There also needs to be a moment of, like, hey, don't just get sucked into the next easiest thing. The thing that feels like it's going to be the quick fix. We want to manifest ourselves to think of the long term and how we can make sure that this help stays lasting and not a short-term fix. How are you going to make sure that whatever your time or your money or your connections, how are you going to make sure those are long-term rather than short-term? And how are we going to make sure that we keep level-headed? Now, I'm going to slightly shift this into how you want to be seen or perceived, because I think that's going to actually be very helpful in telling us exactly kind of what steps you need to be making with this manifestation. Oh man, I just keep cutting this deck in half and it just keeps being like, yep, that's the one. And we have the Empress. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. You are a resource holder. So I think this 9 of coins was not particularly, you have things of excess and you're happy to, you have spent time gathering resources. You have these connections. You know the things. You know what to do. You know what the people, you know where you're going. You know what's up and you're ready to share that. You need to be careful what you put your resources into. You need to be careful what you are planting seeds into. You need to be careful of who gets to find out that you helped. Anonymous is not necessarily a bad thing. You might not need to actually be known as the lighter. You don't have to be publicly known, at least, as the lighter. I think it would be helpful and beneficial to you to have a moment of that secretive, I know I'm the person. And I think that's good. We're going to look at how you can lead from the heart. In all of this, we have the 10 of elixirs. A lovely card. We have pink, purple, blue, so that calmness, but we have that pink in there. And the guidebook says compassion, caring, playfulness, sweetness, and romance. I think you need some sort of partner in this. It doesn't have to be romantic. But somebody else is going to be able to have the knowledge that you are lacking here, because I think we keep kind of running, I feel at least, that I keep kind of running into a roadblock with this energy that is like, hey, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. You have like a million things that you want to help them do, but you don't actually know what that looks like. So bringing in another partner or player or somebody to help you out is actually going to be very, very helpful in this. It is actually going to be incredibly beneficial. I would recommend having outside help in this. It's actually going to be, I think, the best move you can make. I didn't realize this, but on this card, it says wisdom elixir, harmony elixir, calming elixir, dream elixir, happiness elixir, love elixir, and passion elixir. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think somebody else coming in to help you. And I think the one hiding behind here is bliss. So like we're not quite to the bliss. We're trying to get to the bliss. And you can't do that alone. You need more. You need others to come in and help. Oh, you've got a lot of great things coming for you, and your heart is in such a wonderful place. What is your highest intentions for your creations? What is your highest intentions for your creations? It's that card there. Oh, we have the One of Swords, victory. You want to be the top. This beautiful floral arrangement as well behind it. We've got lots of white and red, which we have none of in this. The guidebook says for red is anger, passion, love, sex, danger. I really think it's a passion thing here where you are passionate about this and you want that passion to be felt through as you go. White is usually purity, innocence, simplicity, and clarity. But I think you're just really having a passionate clarity that you want. I think you want that passionate victory. You're wanting to know this was the right decision to make. And while I think you deeply desire the fact to do this alone, you can't. It's interesting that you want to be seen as the lone person, standing tall with all of these things growing out of you, and that your highest intention for the thing is to be alone with no one surrounding you, and yet everything else has you surrounded. And I think that's okay. And you need to be okay with that. There's nothing wrong with being involved with others around you and having them be part of it. They can be involved as well. They can have their say within it. It's such a interesting thing how these cards came out, because with the last one being this blade, I kept kind of keeping an eye out for the blades in this, because I wanted to know where your logic and your reasoning was. And it's only on the end goal, and you need to have logic and reasoning as you take the steps. And part of that is knowing that you can't do this alone. And that's a hard pill to swallow. It really is. But you're actually going to really benefit from people being involved in this and having their input. We want to be seen fully as an individual a lot of the time. And we want to be seen as like the best one. The best self we can be. We want to be known as, like go down in history kind of a thing. You really want to be known forever. And that's not unique, unfortunately. I think as much as you would like it to be. Not everybody has this dream. But you would really love to be known as the lone person who really did that thing. But I think if you look into a lot of people who we know just their name, we find out that they actually had a lot of support. Sometimes it's parents, sometimes it's friends, sometimes it's somebody who took a chance on them. Sometimes it's just the right person who said yes. Little things here and there. Little pieces all the way through. I don't want you to think that you have to hold this alone. I also don't want you to try and hold it alone, because I think that's actually going to be your detriment. Because I think you would be somebody who can just like kind of, I can do this by myself, and you would muddle through it. But you shouldn't. You should really take some time and really focus on it. Interestingly, a lot of these cards have later numbers except for your 2, how you wish to be seen, and then what your highest intentions are. Like, there's a lot of stuff that you're kind of at the end of the cycle and going to start going through it again. and you're going to see these things kind of revolve over and over in your life. But at the same time, you wish to look like you're brand new. You don't want this experience, the knowledge you have, the experience you have, all of the things that you have that you can actually be very proud of. You can. It's okay to be proud of some of the things you've done, but you want to look like you are desiring to look like somebody fresh-faced and new to the industry. And then you almost seem like you want to pompously show around that, oh, look how much knowledge I have, and like keep it secret that actually you have all of this experience and you actually know all these things. There's a reason to keep it secret. It doesn't help, and when it does come out, it's going to ruin everything. Nobody's going to be happy with you. Pile 3. An ego check might be in place. The more I look at these cards, the more I'm like, your ego might need a moment to have some time to get a little smaller. Please reach out to people you know. Talk to them. Hug people. Oh my gosh, I just got a message to hug people. Please hug people. You should hug. Hug people. Touch, like... I don't know why. Feel like there's a lot of men in this one. And I know I don't usually try to put genders down on anything, but like, y'all, guys, you need to hug. Please. Pile 3, thank you for letting me read for you. I really appreciate it. I mean, if anything resonated, I would love to hear it. But I know with general readings, not everything does resonate. But boy, there is some stuff that I'm like, wow, all right then. Yeah, I hope some of the stuff will help you. You don't have to be the big fish. It's okay. You can be a regular sized fish with everybody else. And you can realize how wonderful all the other fish are. They're all great. They're all here to help. So many wonderful things. Well, thank you so much, Pile 3, again, for letting me read for you. And I hope to see you again in another video, actually. I think your journey is going to be really cool. And I hope you're willing to grow and allow others to grow with you. I think that would be a really cool thing to hear about. So hopefully we meet again in another video. Bye-bye. Hello, Pile 4, and welcome to your reading with the Kawaii Tarot. Let the cuteness begin. This is a fun, cute deck. We will see how serious it decides to be today. We're going to be looking kind of at what your heart wants, what you desire, and kind of moving forward, what to do with that info. So, I pick cards one at a time, and the cards sometimes have a lot to say right off the bat, so we let them have their time to speak, which is why I pick one at a time kind of a thing. And sometimes they want to say more as us all together, so we just kind of let them go as they so need. Now, it's feeling like the card that is desiring to come up is towards the top here. For our first card, we just want to look at what you want to create. What does your heart want to create? That one. Possibly the next card after that is important. What do you want to create? And you want to create with the Queen of Coins. Oh, I love this. Okay. First and foremost, this just is like a cozy vibe. You just feel like somebody who wants to make a nice, safe place. You wanting to be the cool person who like has snacks available. You're wanting to be the person that people can turn to and cry. You just want to be somebody who's available, but like also not like haughty about it. You're down to earth. You know what's going on. I love that. I love that that's what your heart wants. The safe space. You want to be the safe space is what it feels like. I love that. I love that with such a passion. Like, oh my gosh. Ugh. I'm like very excited. Like, I'm all like, woo! Like, I want to jump up and down. There's something very fun about that to me that I'm like very excited that this is what we're starting off with. Awesome. So what new aspects of myself or of yourself are you expressing? And yeah, the next card very much does want to just get called. So the Knight of Wands. Okay. You're probably putting up a little bit more resistance. We have a cute little panda on this little lollipop, and it looks like something's happened. Somebody's probably tried to knock him off. It's possibly one of the little bunnies down below trying to throw something up to get him knocked off, and nope, not happening. I'll just take care of myself, get a bandage, and go right back to it. And you're showing persistence and resilience. One of the strongest things for resilience is compassion. And I think you've really taken that to heart. You know that showing kindness to your neighbor, it can be some of the most powerful magic you can do. It's some of the most powerful thing. Because nobody knows how to argue with it a lot of the time. And there's so much, it's good. It's just such a good thing to be doing. I'm just like so comforted by this energy you have. The energy that the cards are presenting is just so comforting. And I know I'm probably going to say that a million times during this because that's just probably what's going to happen. But there's something very relaxing about your energy that's also exciting and potentially infectious. Like, I want to be joined in on this. I want to be part of it. I want to go and do the things. All of that. I think that's part of it. How do we manifest your deepest desires? We're going to be looking at the Page of Coins. Oh, the Page of Coins. Quite literally some of the manifestation. The Page of Coins. Now we have a little squirrel with his nut. And if you're not aware, nuts, squirrels will bury a ton of nuts and forget about them. And this is actually how we end up with new trees a lot of the time, is that squirrels just forget where they are. And I think this is an interesting thing to be like, if you are just helping a ton of people, you're going to forget who you've helped, in a sense of like, oh, I did that. And you're going to have it come back to you. And it's going to come back in such a powerful and amazing way. People are going to remember what you have done and put in and invested into them, and how you are, and they're going to be able to give back. Helping others. Hold on. But an important caveat to this. Helping others is great, but you do also have to accept help. It can be something that feels very out of balance and very like hurtful if you're not willing to accept help as well. Because sometimes people only give help and it kind of gives off this, I'm better than you, I don't need help, and we don't want that. So when people start to come and offer you help and you actually genuinely want it and need it, it's a good time to say yes. It's a good time to be like, you know what? That help is welcome. You don't always have to fight above by yourself. We know you're resilient and you can do things by yourself, but you don't have to, which is really nice. You don't have to be the person who's just standing by themselves and doing everything alone, because you've planted the seeds that helping is good. So accept the help as well. That's important. And it can be very hard. I understand that this is probably something that you're not excuse me, that you're probably not particularly excited about. Kind of speaking within that, actually, though, I'm curious to see how you want to be seen. What is the Leo part, like that, the exterior part of yourself wishing to have happen here? What's this card? What, and this is like a very Leo question in my opinion, like, well, how do you want to be seen? How are we combing our mane and wishing to be presented as? And it's the 10 of Cups, happiness. Immediately we have this beautiful happiness. Again, safe space. I think your heart, and there's not a lot of ego happening, which is good, but like I do also think there's a little bit of pride. I think there is a slight difference to them, and it's not shameful to accept help. You don't have to stand by yourself. Look at all of these people that are joining in to do stuff. So many people. This is a card of sometimes even found family. And if you are somebody who is in the LGBTQIA plus space, the safe space you want and are trying to create is on a really good path. I am so excited that you're making it too. I'm excited that you wish for that you want the safety that is desired for yourself and your community is really, really good, is very important, and should be taken seriously as you want it to be. You're not crazy. You are doing all of the work. You are staying on your points, your stance. You are standing tall and you're doing the good work. And it's a community. And they're willing to back you up. They're willing to help you out. You can create such a wonderful thing. And I'm not saying it's necessarily even you as a leader, though we can kind of see where the last two cards end us. But this feels like you are a really good support. That you are able to help and do good things. And I think there's like a really nice kindness to you that not everybody has. You're very special in this, that you have a kindness that I don't think everyone can have. There's like this, your resilience, you took the world telling you no, and you just were able to take it, and not lying down kind of a way, but like you were able to then turn it into kindness. Not everybody can take the hate that is thrown at them and turn it into kindness. Some people are a hate for hate person. Some people, some of us are built tit for tat kind of a thing. But you're not. And that's amazing. That's a wonderful thing to have. I want to see how you can lead from the heart. How you can use this to your best abilities. It's this card. And I want to see what that looks like for you. And it's the 3 of Wands. This is the time to plan. This is the time. I'm so excited. We have our llama. Your llama. It's you. It's like, it's really you. Ha 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 ha. And again, I don't think you're going to be higher up, but you aren't necessarily having to be. I really don't feel this energy that you have to be the number one leader. There's 2 more back here. There's more people by your side. There's more people who will pick up the staffs. There's more people who pick up the wands and help you out. Don't worry. But you're part of it. You're helping. You're overseeing. Sorry, pun. Bad pun too. Not a good one. You're overseeing everything. You're able to see what's going on, and you're able to direct people. You can point out where the waters are rough. You can take your little wand and be like, avoid the rocks over there. Hey, go check out over there. These people might need help. You have that power to do, and you are going to be so good at it. And it's going to be incredibly fulfilling, which is really, really cool. within this space that you're trying to create, this safety net, the safety net. Interesting. I don't know exactly what that means. If that's like a financial, or if it's just like a safe space, or like in case something happens, unfortunately, sometimes people get outed in ways that they don't wish to, and having somewhere where they can softly land is important. And maybe you're that person, and maybe it's just your own couch for the people in your life. This doesn't have to be big. I say this, a lot of the stuff I've been saying sounds kind of like grandiose. In a general reading, it's sometimes hard to give scale because I'm reading for so many people. But for some of you, this is just realizing that your couch can be slept on when your friend gets outed. And not in the way they needed to or wanted to, and now they're getting kicked out. For some of you, you're going to start volunteering leadership. You are going to be one of the people who is at the top, who is really directing a lot of things, funds and people and volunteers and, all this stuff. There's so many ways. Some of you are, organizing protests and rallies. And some of you are helping spread word of it. There's a lot of really important things happening in this. And you're right at the center of it all, which is great. Our last question is, what is your highest intentions for your creations? So this thing that you are ready to kind of allow, the safe space you're trying to make, what is the highest intention for it? What is your highest intention for it? Is this? It's both. Both of those cards are getting called. So we're going to use both those cards. We have the Knight of Cups and the Nine of Coins. Nine of Coins is a great card to have show up this gratefulness. And I think there's almost like this, that this is a given between these two cards. That you want this to just be a fact. You don't want this to be a secret. You don't want this to feel like it's not there. You want a safe space that everyone can feel welcome to. And it'll run with no problems. You're never going to have any financial issues. You're always going to be so excited and happy, and that everything materially will be perfect, basically. And on the other side of that is also that the people are lovely to work with, and that we want the people we work with, the people who come in, the people who join us to be amazing and wonderful. And who doesn't want that as their end result, that everything that touches it ends up being the absolute best it can be in every sense. In these particular senses, it's like an emotional and physical sense, like materialistic sense. Now, pile 4, there is something missing. And potentially a couple things, actually. We pulled no major arcana, and that is a little frustrating to see that this safe space for the LGBTQIA plus group that you were hoping to do is not in a major point, but it takes small steps to get the big steps. I also think that part of why you can't do this alone is there is a lack of logical reasoning that's not here. You've got some really good grounding, you know what's going on, but there's some factual stuff that you're missing. Like a numbers person almost. Realistically what's kind of happening and stuff, and you know how to handle the emotions and probably a lot of the people. But somebody needs to kind of know the operations. And you don't feel like the operational person for this project that's coming. It's okay to have, yeah, I think you just need a partner or two. I think it's two. I really like this Three of Wands, that like you're not alone. It sounds like it's a little trifecta. Then you don't have that like button heads duel kind of a thing that happens. I think this idea though that I kind of like the idea of somebody who's like a charmer, who's like the people person. You're not a bad people person, but you're like the people person is coming in, and like somebody else who's like running the numbers really good. And the numbers person almost feels like they're like more Nine of Wands like you. They're very stuck in the mud, but I don't think they have turned the fight that they received into kindness like you have. They might have a little bit more resistance, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. There is people of all kinds that help make the world go round, and sometimes when somebody comes into the space, you might need your operations person to be able to relate to this hate for hate kind of vibe. That can be important and helpful. Pile 4. I can't wait to see what you make. Really, truly, I can't wait to see. This is a slow process. A real slow process. This one feels like it's 2 or 3 years of work and building till you can like look back and go, oh, okay. If you're willing to share though what your goals are, I would love to hear about it in the comments. And if you need a hug, this might be one of those spreads that I wish I could hug you through the screen. Pile 4. The magic is with you and your actions. I'm just somebody who reads cardstock. So while this is all wonderful and good things, you have to put in the work. And the future is not set in stone. These desires, these hopes and dreams are only that. They're hopes and dreams until you put the first foot down in front of the other. You got to start somewhere. It seems like you're trying already, and I love that, and keep going. Keep your persistence going. That's important. I'm so excited. This has been... My heart is happy. My heart is really happy. I know the lighting is getting all weird, and it's because I'm losing my natural lighting, and I didn't turn on the other light, and it's fine. It's fine. But I want you to know this has been a nice, like, warm cup of cocoa kind of reading, and I'm very, very excited for you. Okay, I'll let you leave to prepare, do your stuff, write your lists. Although you might need to find the list writer. It's what it feels like. But you know what you're doing. And I'm not sure if your list writer has appeared in your life yet, to be perfectly honest. I think there's a reason we're not seeing them. And I think it'll be a little bit before you see them. Like a couple months. But I think you're gonna run into them. And you need to keep doing your work so that you know when you see them. Your charmer you might actually know, though. Your charming person, I think you know. And you probably had somebody pop into your head. Well, thank you again for letting me read for you. This was such a cozy, this felt cozy, and I want to sit across from you and like have your questions and stuff, because I feel like it would be a really good one to hear and pick your brain. Thank you so much for letting me read for you, Pile 4. Keep that magic going. You've got this.